Hello and welcome to our, all five rounds YouTube debut. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Ty O'Keefe, and in a second I'll be joined, as you can see down in the corner, by my good friend and esteemed co-host, Darren Laux. Always have a lot to talk about in all five rounds. We got some Jon Jones business to take care of. Got some new fight announcements, well, a couple, but more it's kind of Conor Khabib. There's just a lot to talk about, but no point wasting any time. Let's get right into it. Rumors this week have insinuated, hinted, reported, whatever you want to say, that Jon Jones and his camp have possibly paid off USADA to get a lighter suspension for his last drug test. He's been inactive for a long time. And when you consider the source of the rumors being Colby Covington, who, in case you didn't, for those who don't know, Colby Covington was a former college roommate of Jon Jones. But that's kind of the source of the rumors. But the bigger picture is who he would fight and when he would fight. And I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've heard the rumors too. I'm not sure exactly where I lie with those. Whether I believe it or not, I don't know. It's tough to say. But I've heard for sure that Gus and Jones too is in the works. I'm interested in seeing that fight. That's for damn sure. I think there's a lot of unsettled business there. I'm in for that. I've also heard about, Cormier Jones 3. I'm not too sure how much that weight that's holding though, with, everything that's going on and Jones having two solid wins over Cormier. So, I'd like to see him come back. I don't think he should get. This is the UFC though, so who the hell knows? I mean, Brock Lesnar's out of nowhere is getting a title shot. So
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think he deserves a title shot right away. I think you got to come back, earn your stripes. I think Gus is the only guy who can determine if Jon Jones is able to do that. And man, to me, that's a heck of a fight. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you're right. I mean, nobody, including myself, wants to see Cormier Jones 3. That fight, that beef's been settled. It's been decided. It sucks that Cormier lost the way he did, but it's over. That's it. Done. There's no more fight to be had there between Cormier and Jones, as far as I'm concerned. The fight is definitely Gustafsson. And it's funny too, because that's the fight that Cormier should have at light heavyweight, as far as I'm concerned. But if they're not going to give Jones an immediate title shot, which obviously he doesn't deserve at this point, he lost that simply because of his actions outside the octagon, then it's got to be Gustafsson. And I'm getting so tired of the UFC dragging its feet on giving Gustafsson this opportunity. Whether they want to keep Cormier happy because, he doesn't want to give Gustafsson the shot now before he leaves, or whether they don't want to test Jon Jones like that because they're afraid he'll lose in his first fight back, and then they lose a huge cash cow, right? I mean, if Jon Jones comes back and Gustafsson whoops his ass, then where are we? You know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden the UFC has lost a big moneymaker, and they got a big nut to crack every month. So, that's not a – yeah, that's a tough thing, but I don't buy the rumors either. I mean, I think it's BS. Colby Covington, yes, he was his roommate in college or whatever, but I just think why would USADA waste its time getting its hands dirty with one fighter when it regulates basically the entire planet? I mean, it makes no sense.
The money they get from the UFC alone, I'm sure they would just shake their heads and laugh, whatever Jon Jones would
unless Jon Jones is breaking out like $10 trillion or something over,
which he's not, which he doesn't have now.
Exactly. So I guess, it is what it is. It would be nice to see Jon Jones back though, because, other than that, and that's not a loss to Matt Hamill, obviously, he's never lost before. That alone makes us care, right?
I agree. And you know what, man, I think he lost to Gustafsson, to be honest. When I saw that fight, I thought I watched it 3 times, and every time I saw it, I saw the same way. I saw Gustafsson winning enough rounds to win that fight. So, I mean, man, come on back for sure, and let's redo Gustafsson. And to be honest, if Gustafsson wins, that ain't as bad, I think, as the UFC would think it would be, because they could just set up a third fight. And Gus could be the only guy who did it. So
yeah, that's a very good point. You're right. That set up a trilogy bout would make more money than the rematch.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
And I'm in the same camp as you. I think Gustafsson won that first fight, and I really, really, really think that think of all the rematches we've had that have been run back that haven't been that close. I mean, there's been a lot that they could have had. They could have made before making they've made before making the Jones Gustafson rematch for no reason. This Jones Gustafson thing should have been done a year ago, 2 years ago, three. I'm so tired of this. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
it's
interesting.
legit.
It's we're going to see a lot of rematches in this sport, and for this not to happen, and it's not like these guys are 42, 43 years old, but they will be if they don't do something quick. It's a
Yep.
blink of an eye. We've already lost how many? Let's think about this. How much greatness could Jon Jones have accomplished during this time he's been out? I mean, that's just like
Oh
McGregor too. Same thing.
man.
These guys, man, in their prime.
Yep. In their prime, just blowing this opportunity to cement themselves in history. I mean, not that they already haven't done that, but they could have how many X more fights, fighting even just twice a year against
Yeah.
top name fighters. You know what I mean? And maybe we could have had that rematch. And you know what? And maybe Cormier winning the heavyweight title the way he did, and if John wasn't, being an idiot and getting himself in trouble, maybe we could be seeing him at heavyweight. Maybe they do say, forget Brock Lesnar. Let's run it back, but let's do heavyweight with Cormier and Jones. Like
Yeah.
you're right. They've wasted a huge opportunity in their careers.
Yeah. And I guess all we can do is wait and see what happens. Thankfully, Connor's going to be back in the octagon. And if I hear one more person say that they think this is going to be Connor's last fight in October, I'm going to cry. I'm so sick of hearing. That would be such a shame if Connor fights Khabib and then he's done. I mean, the
No
guy's
way.
not even 30 years old yet. You don't
Yeah,
think that's going
no
to
way.
happen?
Not a chance, man. Not a chance. He's got, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he's got the Khabib fight. If he wants to do Tony Ferguson, he could do Tony Ferguson. I don't think anyone would be mad at that fight. And then, I know the UFC shutting the door on GSP, but they always say that. They always say they're not interested. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. And then bang, all of a sudden he's in fighting for the middleweight title or whatever else, So I think GSP is somewhere in the mix as well. They're just not saying that it's true. And you know what? I'll be honest too. I've heard rumors from the Mayweather camp that Floyd and Connor too is a possibility. So he's not done. He's not
I'm
done.
anything but Floyd Connor too, please. Nothing. I can't take it. I can't take it. I had to cover it, but I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. All right, whatever. Just
No.
on that note, I just have to change the subject just so I don't pass out of just pure depression. Anyways,
All
all
right,
right,
kick it
moving
down.
on. Michael Chiesa was in the wrong place at the wrong time, basically. When he was on that bus, McGregor threw the dolly, through the window. He got cut, unable to fight. Legitimate beef, if you
Yep.
ask me, just because he was unable to fight. Now,
Yep.
he went on to say, I mean, after the fact, oh, McGregor cost me a title shot because I would have been asked to replace or to step in against Khabib because I was ranked higher than Iaquinta, so he actually cost me a title shot. Well, that's reaching as far as I'm concerned. Whatever. We'll see. But he has now decided to sue Conor McGregor. And for, I don't know if it's for losses for that fight, for that card, or if it's going to extend into possible damages because he didn't get the title fight. I don't know. Where do you think this is going to go? And I know we both think this is just the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say where everything's going to end up with this whole thing. I do know though that most people, if they were in his situation, would be doing the same thing. Um, Particularly in the U.S. where you can sue anybody over having your coffee too
Easy
hot.
now.
So.
Don't upset our American viewers.
You know what I'm saying, though. It just you don't have those same frivolous lawsuits in Canada as you do in the U.S. So
Not as often.
uh,
No, no, no. You're
not as
absolutely right.
often. Yeah. So I think it is it's a bit of a cash cow that he's trying to cash in. He was in. You say he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I think he might have been thinking he was in the right place at the right time to
Yeah,
make some
yeah,
money. So you
yeah.
know.
At the time too, they got video from that bus, and there was a lot of people panicking and whatever. And Rose Namajunas has been damaged by it, whether we agree with it or not. Something's clearly happened to her since that because she's not functioning the same way she was before. whether we like that, agree with it, doesn't matter because I mean something's going on.
Yep.
And she's not fighting right now. She's also had injuries too that's kept her out of the octagon. And
Right.
you know, Jessica Andrade has earned that title shot after knocking out Kowalkiewicz last weekend. And I
Mhm.
know Andrade is unhappy because she's not getting an answer from Namajunas. And I bring this up because it sounds to me like it's directly related to Rose Namajunas being on that bus. If it's not, I'm wrong, so be it. But it's just the beginning. If not, I think Namajunas is going to sue McGregor as well. And
Yeah.
there's going to be other, you know, whoever else. I don't know if Ray Borg, he was on that bus as well, I believe. I know
Yeah, he was.
he's had a tough run of luck with his kid, having health problems, I believe, things like that. You know, it's going to be a mess. And maybe, though, this could work out for our benefit because make Connor fight more because
Yeah.
he's going to be having some money. Well, we don't know how much he made off the Mayweather fight. I say it's over 150 he made off the Mayweather fight. But you know, but then again, that also might drive him right back into Mayweather's arms. And
I
I just
yeah.
I just can't do that. So I'm just
But
gonna if that
dude,
happens,
I
I'm saying
think
it right now. If this rematch, I am boycotting any Mayweather McGregor rematch. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna watch it. I don't want anything
come
to do
on,
with it.
man. You're lying
No,
right now. You're gonna
no, I
talk
didn't
about
watch.
it.
I'll tell you right now, I didn't watch the first fight. I didn't, and
Yeah,
I
but
covered it.
you're gonna talk about it. You're gonna watch the second one. Come on.
You know
You
me for
tell me
20 years. Yeah, you can tell when I'm. I don't. You know what? Saying no, I'm gonna stand. No, I'm gonna stand my ground. No way. I'm gonna. No, we'll see. We'll see. But I just hope we
okay.
don't get to that point. Oh my God, we get to that point, we got a whole other problem. I mean, why? Oh God. And this Zuffa boxing thing seems to make it more possible. Although we know Mayweather doesn't fight outside of his own company, right? So
That's
we'll see
right.
what happens. But
Yeah.
oh God, I hope not. All right,
Like,
moving on. We have a card this weekend in Moscow. If anybody's noticed, I mean, I haven't noticed that much. Have you even heard anything about this card, this main event this weekend?
no,
Yeah,
it's the Mark Hunt main event, right? Like,
yeah, exactly right. This is what we do, and we're sitting here going, yeah, right. We don't. I mean,
yeah, like
this is
Mark
the who
Hunt's been
cares
in
card.
the headlines lately, though. I mean, he's not exactly pleased with what the UFC's decision to have Brock Lesnar come and fight for a heavyweight title.
Yeah,
I can't say I blame him about that. I mean, if the guy took something and he fought me, and then the match gets taken back, like I think they ran that as a no contest after it was taken back, and so. How do you have a no contest get busted for a substance that you're not supposed to have and get a heavyweight title shot after you've been doing fake wrestling in the WWE? I don't know.
yeah,
What do you think, man? What the hell?
yeah. I'm not gonna wax poetic on my hatred for Brock Lesnar at this moment. I can't stand that guy. As I've said before, I had the misfortune of going to high school in South Dakota for a couple of years when he was in the area, and yeah, I don't want him around the UFC at all. Once you get popped for cheating, as far as I'm concerned, just go away. You know, and you get multiple times, and it's not like he cares. It's not. That's the other thing. It's not like
No,
he's remorseful. He's like, oh, look at me, I'm gonna come back in and be a gorilla and make this money again, and da 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 da. And the UFC's like, oh, please do, please do. And I don't know why. I mean, really, the only people I think that he really draws in that the UFC really wants is these casual fans who think it's so cool to have Brock Lesnar come in there and fight after how many years away or whatever. And Mark Hunt's got a point.
WWE fans too, though.
Yeah, and they're used to overpaying for pay-per-views. You know, I
They
mean,
yes, they are.
that,
Yes, they are.
that's in their DNA. So you
Yep.
know, this thing where they're going to charge, they're the same people who bought, you know, oh, let's pay $100 for Mayweather pay-per-view. Then you know, not going to happen. These people, they're going to come around, and that's great for MMA. Anything that gets more exposure to MMA, great. But I don't think Brock Lesnar is the right representative to spreading the message. I mean,
No.
this is ridiculous, and I still think Miocic should be the last fight that Cormier gets at heavyweight. But we all know that's not going to happen because
Nope.
Miocic is a very dangerous heavyweight, and the UFC wants to see Cormier go out on a high note, and they can't guarantee that with Miocic. I think it's pretty
No.
certain that Cormier is going to be too quick for Lesnar when they
Yeah.
actually square up, and he hits too hard. He's too
Yep.
experienced. He's been in there against too many talented guys. If Lesnar just doesn't have
Yeah.
the chops to do anything to him. And so, you know, and of course, Cormier, he wants to go out on a big payday. But if you're Mark Hunt, yeah, I'd be pissed too. You got a guy who cheated, and you're on the wrong side of 40. Isn't 40 now? 40 or
Yeah,
41?
40 or 41.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your career's ending. Your career's ending, or at least your UFC career is coming to a close in the relatively near future. And you're
Yeah.
watching this Brock Lesnar guy who cheated get an opportunity that you've been trying to get your whole entire life.
Yeah.
And he's had interim title shots, Mark Hunt. But that's not the same thing.
Not the
And
same thing.
yeah, not
Yeah.
even close. Not even close. It's
Yeah.
a band-aid. But anyways, so yeah, Mark Hunt, I think, has every right to be angry. He's already, last year, I don't know if you remember. You remember when he came up and was saying about how he was talking about his symptoms from that concussion and they pulled him out of that fight last
Yeah.
year? Yeah, so he's already got some anger towards the UFC about a few different things. And I think this is kind of just the last straw for him. Like he's just had it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is the Who cares card this weekend on Saturday. They have,
Yeah.
and for like,
Unfortunately.
do you not think the Russia debut, this should have been bigger, right?
Yeah, you would think. I mean, I'm still stunned that they didn't do, they didn't try to work Khabib Connor for Russia. Like that's the fight to make in Russia when you're dropping a bombshell like a UFC event. I don't, you take biggest Russian MMA fighter that you have with one of the biggest storylines going in MMA right now, with possibly the biggest fight you can possibly set up in MMA, and you pluck it in a place with 150 million people, and you see what happens. Like that's what I would have done. I don't know what, but
I
I'm not a, I don't know.
I think that the only thing that might have stopped them was they couldn't get a pay-per-view together fast enough when the fight got agreed to, and they knew they were already going to Moscow and it wasn't going to be a pay-per-view. And B, I don't think Connor would have agreed to have his first fight back in Moscow. That's some Rocky Four shit. When you go back, that's real Drago Rocky stuff. And I don't think Connor's ready to do that in his first fight back against a guy who wrestled a bear when he was 9 years old and now still hasn't lost in a fight ever as a pro. I mean, ever. So,
Yeah.
I think that was probably the problem with that. However, if they have a rematch, I bet anything it will be in Russia if they have a rematch.
Yeah.
If something stops, if something, especially if it's a close first fight or whatever, oh yeah, they're going to get down in Moscow or whoever, and Putin's going to be sitting like right there. It's going to be big. It's going to be Rocky Four, but we'll see what happens. And either way, this card though has been overshadowed, and it's kind of a shame because there's obviously fighters on these cards who have an opportunity they have an opportunity to be in a card, and they're not getting the press they deserve because of everything else that's going on, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, that's just, I guess, the way it is. Before we wrap up, let's see. Has there anything else we would like to? Oh, hey, let's talk about Jose Aldo for a minute.
Okay.
Just whatever. Jose Aldo talking about going to lightweight. Great idea overall. Wants a bigger name than Donald Cerrone. What do you think? Who should he get?
Yeah. Oh man, who should he get? I mean, he just he jumped out of the boiling pot and like into the fire. Like, man, there is a list of the top 10 guys in the lightweight division are all sharks. Like they're all killers. Um, so as far as I'm concerned, like, is there one guy? No, I don't think there's one guy. I mean, I don't think you give him a title shot. I don't think he deserves, anybody in the top three. Outside of that, a lot of those fighters I think are kind of a wash, like in terms of like where they're at with everybody else in the division. It's kind of just everybody's like crabs in a bucket trying to get up. And while they're doing that, they keep pulling each other down, I think. So
Yeah,
uh, I don't think there's a specific dude that's, but from the UFC, it would be nice to put him in there with a striker, a nice strike, maybe Edson Barboza.
yeah, that would
Although
be
I
a
don't know
good
what
kind
his
of
rank is
test
right
the
now.
waters fight. And either way you cut it, though, I think you would agree that he should at least have one or two fights before he gets any sort of
Yeah,
opportunity even to think about a title shot at a lightweight division.
absolutely.
Let's be
Absolutely.
honest. And as we were talking about before the show, he's won tons and tons of fights, and he was undefeated for a long time. He didn't lose. His reign was unprecedented almost at the time for the UFC.
Hmm.
But that's over with. He got he got not only defeated, he got significantly, decisively knocked the F out 3 times. So you gotta, I really think Don Cerrone wouldn't be that bad of a fight for him. It's too bad Don Cerrone isn't the Don Cerrone we once knew even a year ago, because then I
Mm-hmm.
think it would have been something Aldo would have been more open to. Maybe, maybe he would have been like, hey, Don Cerrone's won 3, 4 fights in a row. But now Don Cerrone, man, he's hit a rough patch, so he's not the
Yeah.
attractive opponent that he usually is, and that he deserves to be until he stops fighting. But whatever. Anyways, that is probably close to the end of our time. I lost track. Whatever. We always try to stay on 25 minutes, and we will in the future. I'd like to thank my co-host for our illustrious YouTube debut, Darren. Thank you so much for putting up with this and this transition. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
And we will get back to you guys soon with another episode, I'm sure this week or beginning of next week at some point. And stay tuned for all of our YouTube content on, you can check our YouTube content under my name, Ty O'Keefe. You can hit Darren up on Twitter at Darren Laux, and he's new to Twitter, so please give him a follow. And you can catch us on Facebook, and we're going to be lots of other places in the future too. So that has been all 5 rounds, our YouTube debut. Thank you very much.